Hi, this is midterm reviews of Ngoc Agriculture Research Center. My name is Hung, and now we go to the objective 4. Develop and evaluate economically sustainable cassava seed system model for rapid dissemination of new varieties and clean planting material to farmers in different value chains and production contexts. There are 4 activities or objectives in Ngoc Center. We have done all the activities with the goal to get rapid multiplication of disease-free planting material and new varieties. The first activity tells us about the impact of irrigation on tuber yield and starch content of cassava with different seasons. The second activity tells us about the effects of planting density on the root yield and the economic benefit of getting greater number of planting material. The third activity is screening of locally available and popular varieties respond to CMD with high disease pressure. And the last activity is the main focus to get the clean planting material for experiments at this stage. This graph shows the temperature and rainfall data recorded from April 2020 to April 2021 at the site where tunnels are located and the experiments were carried out except the disease-related experiment. The red line is indicate high heat temperature, the green line indicates the low heat temperature, and the blue bars represent the rainfall volume. The first activity, the effect of water availability on cassava yield and starch accumulation in Dong Nai province. The experiments were performed for 3 years, 2019, 2020, and 2021. The purpose of the study was to evaluate the impact of irrigation on tuber yield and starch content of cassava. The experiment was designed in a split plot design with 4 replications. A color area, blue, yellow, green, represents different harvest times. The X zone is where the sprinklers are located. The red area is the location of the soil moisture sensor. We have an established irrigation system, soil moisture sensor, and a weather station in collaboration with IKI projects, University of Southern Queensland and HLARC. We used 2 varieties in this experiment, namely KM94, known as KU50, and the D7 variety. In the picture, the workers are planting for the first season. During 2019 to 2020 seasons, the cassava were planted in May and harvested in 3 different times. The yield in the late harvest for 13 months were highest in both rain and irrigated crop. However, there was not significant difference between irrigated and rain crop. At that time, we had problem with the water source. The sprinkler irrigation system ran at the end of February 2020 and operated until early April. Only 83 mm of water were applied in this period. In the second season, the plant was sown and harvested at 3 different times. For the 2 harvest times in January and March, we see a moderate yield increase in the irrigated plot. A slight increase in yield was a desirable sign. However, the difference is not enough to confirm the effect of irrigation on the yield and starch content. One notable reason is that the rainfall in that year was more distributed due to the prolonged rainy season. In the end of August, there was a dry period in the South Vietnam, so the cassava plant germinated quickly. After that, they grew slowly and yield could not be measured, so we did not harvest that crop. In 2021 and 2022, the experiment is still being carried out in the field to get more expected results. Recently, we collected data for the first harvest on January of this year. The next harvest will carry out in March and May, according to the experimental plan. The second activity we did was the effect planting density on cassava yield and starch accumulation. For the purpose of determining the optimal density and fertilizer level for cassava variety VN19442. The cassava variety VN19442 is a local cassava variety of Vietnam that has been screened from 2018 to 2019 to evaluate its resistance to mosaic disease in tanning, where CMD is under very heavy pressure. At that time, we could not import mosaic-resistant variety from SIAS or IITAs. Therefore, VN19442 variety is expected to have a good tolerance to CMD and get high yield. The experiment was set up with 3 density and 3 levels of fertilizers shown in the table. Preliminary fresh tuber yield and starch content in treatment 1 were high, but we didn't see much treatment effect as we had to cut short the experiment due to root rot disease. We plan to do the experiment and compare yield between stake growth plant and tunnel plant. Currently, the experiment is being carried out in the field and is expected to be harvested at the end of February. However, most of the cassava plants have been infected with anthracnose. Therefore, this cassava variety did not meet the expectation. The third activity: susceptibilities of cassava varieties to cassava mosaic disease trial. This experiment was set up in Tân Châu, Tây Ninh province, and 6 varieties were used to evaluate the effects of CMD on yield and starch content of cassava in high disease pressure. This experiment was designed in split plot with 4 replication. Variety is in main plot and type of planting material in subplot. The source material for each variety is divided into 3 disease levels: clean, positive, and symptomatic. Due to heavy disease pressure, all plants show symptoms within 4 to 8 weeks. As a result, you can see the yield was very low. In good condition of disease-free area, you have seen that 40 tons per hectare was average yield, and in this experiment, the highest yield achieved just above 15 tons per hectare. The notable here is that all varieties respond similarly. Clean plant material produce better yield, and disease plant material yield lowest. Currently, cassava variety KM419 have been seriously degraded because of CMD since 2017, so farmers in Tây Ninh no longer use this variety in production. For 2021 and 2022 season, we repeat the result of 2020. Experiment was planned on 27 May, and this is not main season in Tây Ninh. We planting to harvest in early March this year for evaluation. Due to COVID-19, transportation is limited. We cannot collect data at 3 months after plant state. The last activity, rapid multiplication by tunnel system. With the support of CIAS, Nguyen Center has now established 4 tunnel systems with a total area of 160 square meters, of which 2 are in operation. Each tunnel is equipped with an automatic watering and misting system based on humidity and temperature sensor. The 4 varieties of cassava has been tested for rapid propagation by tunnel system. The results obtained are very promising. During the implementation, we discovered that the age of the mother plant greatly affects on the growth of the seedling in the tunnel system. Mother plant with the age of about 8 to 10 months are suitable for material. The cassava castings were planted horizontally in rows spaced 10 cm apart. After that, a layer of sand 3 cm thick is covered to retain the moisture. The weather conditions in the South Vietnam are characterized by high temperatures and long hours of sunshine. After several failed tests, we use a black net to reduce the temperature and humidity of the tunnel system. It's very important for the development of the seedling from germinating to more than 10 days old. This method can be applied when setting up a tunnel system in place with similar weather conditions. The seedlings in tunnel system are automatically watered to ensure the right humidity is maintained. Besides, fertilizers are also applied. In this picture, the seedling grow well at 25 days old. The plant is about 25 to 30 days old. It can be cut and multiplied the first phase and moved to the next house. The remaining original casting will be continued to take care, and after the next 25 or 30 days, the new plant will be cut and multiplied for the second time. The seedlings are nursed in nest house on the substrate and will be for transplanting to the fields after 25 to 30 days. Now we have multiplied about 800 cassava plants after 1.5 months for the second time. The medium yield for seedling at nest house is a mixture of soy, coconut fibers, and dry husk with the ratio 1:1. The seedlings that have just been planted in the field need regular watering to maintain moisture for root and leaf development, and the survival rate after planting in the soil with irrigation conditions in the night is over 90%. And there are some notes on propagation by tunnel house. The original plant yield forecasting must be old enough. And when the weather is too hot, it is necessary to use shade net to cover the tunnel to control temperatures. The most optimal watering time is early morning and cool afternoon. Avoid watering at noon. Seedling must be planted immediately after cutting in the substrate and ensure the amount of water for irrigation. The seedling must be transplanted to the field at the right time for the best development of their root system. Due to CMD epidemic, farmers demand for disease-free seedling for production is very high, and turnover system is a method of rapid propagation of disease-free seedling in an efficient and low-cost way. In the coming time, Nguc Center will continue to maintain the above activities and expand some new activity in the period of 2022 to 2023. We are always looking forward to your research collaboration. Thank you for your attention.